How do you build trust in your relationship? This is a crucial question for all relationships because without trust, you're likely to be really hurting in your relationship. So today I'm going to talk about 6 things that you can do to build trust together. Hello, my name is Dr. Brian Clemens. My channel is focused on helping you have the best relationship possible and be the most mentally healthy individual that you can be. Today I'm going to teach you a process of building trust by working through an acronym called ATTUNE. This information is taken from Dr. John Gottman's research, and you'll find this information in a book called The Science of Trust. It's a very solid book on how to build trust. Let me start with the A in ATTUNE. A stands for aware of emotions. You want to be the kind of person that has good emotional intelligence in that you're very aware of the emotions of your partner. If they look sad that day, you want to be aware of that. Even if they're angry, some people are turned off by anger. You're attuned to that. You're aware of the emotions on their facial expression, on their affect. When you're aware of your partner's emotions, it provides an opportunity for connection. And it's really these small moments of connection that build trust. And that leads to the second aspect of building trust, which is the T. You want to turn towards your partner rather than away from them. I'm going to pick on men because sometimes men might see that their wives are upset and turn away with the thought of, I don't really want to deal with this right now. If she's mad, I don't want to deal with it. And that's the wrong thing to do. You really want to investigate. You want to say, are you okay? You look sad. That's a good way of starting it out. You look sad. I'm aware of your emotions. I'm turning towards you. And you ask an open-ended question like, what's going on? What happened? So you want to turn towards your partner rather than turning away from them. Turning away will result in a missed opportunity in building trust. The third aspect in building trust is the second T in ATTUNE, and that stands for tolerating a different viewpoint. Tolerating a different viewpoint can be very difficult sometimes because they may say something you don't agree with. It's a different way of thinking than you. And it's really important that you learn to tolerate it. And one of the biggest ahas of my own marriage is it's not wrong, it's just different. So the fact that she has a different viewpoint than me isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of benefits to that. When your partner begins to tell you what is going on with them and why they're feeling the way they're feeling, being a good listener is the key. You don't have to agree with everything they say. The fourth thing that you want to do in helping you build trust is the U in our acronym. The U stands for understanding. Understanding is so crucial in this process. You're really trying to be kind of a Sherlock Holmes in a sense. You're seeking to understand their world. So you're asking open-ended questions. Tell me more. Help me understand. You might even summarize back to them. So what you're saying is this. Seeking to understand is very important. In fact, Dr. John Gottman has a phrase that says, understanding precedes advice. And that is so wise. We're really trying to understand our partner and understand what they're going through. If we get into an advice mode and just say, well, why don't you just do this? That'll fix your problem. At that point, you stop building trust. At that point, it detours the process because most of us aren't looking for answers to our problems necessarily. We're all very smart people and we can problem solve a lot. And that's not to say you don't have something to offer your partner in a different perspective. But Your primary goal is to seek to understand. The fifth thing that you do to build trust is the N, and that stands for non-defensive responding. If your partner starts talking about what's wrong with them and it happens to be something about you, for example, you may have an immediate automatic response of getting defensive because you feel that you're being accused of something that you're not doing. This is very hard to do, especially if their issue is with you. So you're really wanting to put your agenda aside. And this is hard to do, but it is possible. And even though you might disagree with what they're saying, try to understand why they might feel that way, rather than being defensive. Defensiveness, if you remember from a previous video that I've done on communication, is one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that detours couples during communication. It erodes the relationship when there's a lot of defensiveness. So you really want to be non-defensive in responding to your partner. And finally, the 6th thing that you want to do to help you build trust is to empathize with them. Empathy is so powerful. You can practice empathy by trying to put yourself in their shoes. It's likely that you have a different personality than your partner. That usually is the case. So trying to put yourself in their shoes and in how they experience the world. When you're empathizing, you're really trying to see it from their perspective, not your perspective. And so putting yourself in their shoes, seeing it through their lenses on how they may be experiencing it. That's one level of empathy. Another level of empathy is trying to understand the emotions that they're going through. We're all emotional beings, and so another way of empathizing could be, I understand sadness. I understand what it's like to have a very difficult boss that's a jerk, and how that feels emotionally to me. Trying to relate to them emotionally is very powerful in helping you build empathy. And the third way of building empathy is getting to a place of compassion, potentially, for them. It may take a little working up to, but seeing it through their eyes, understanding the emotions that they're experiencing, and having a deep emotion of compassion for them. They will sense that in you, usually through the eyes. They'll see that your eyes are compassionate. A facial expression shows compassion and that you're there with them. If you notice, this process is more of a posture that you're taking with your partner. You're not saying a lot. You're doing a lot of listening. The attunement process is more of a trusting posture that you're taking with your partner. You're asking questions, open-ended ones, hopefully, and you're trying to understand what they're going through emotionally. But you're not lecturing them. You're not trying to give them advice. They might ask you for advice later, but remember, understanding precedes advice. And most importantly, being attuned to your partner means that you are there for them. In that moment, you are there for them. That summarizes trust in a very big way. Just think of people in your life that you trust. They're usually the people that are very good listeners. They're people that are there for you when you need it. They're a listening ear. They're not there to try to tell you what to do. They're not there to criticize you and judge you, but they're very open and welcoming. This is the kind of person you need to be with your partner, being there for them and genuinely practicing this attunement response to them when they're going through something. If you're finding this helpful, please click on like and subscribe. Make a comment below on your experience with trust. I'll also be doing a video on how to build trust after betrayal. So stay tuned for that video.